Alright, this video is going to be on every attempted suicide in my life, and a few that weren't attempted suicides, they were just treated as such. When I was younger, I was shipped around from place to place, no stability, no family, from about the age of 4 to about 18, I guess. I mean, there was a few stints there where I lived with relatives, my dad, my mom, my brother, for short periods of time. But usually it was just home visits. Most of the memories that I have growing up are from home visits. Um, the first time I remember trying to kill myself is actually at Centennial Peaks. We had this game where they got these magic slippers, and everybody's got to take off their shoes. These slippers are huge, and you got to figure out how to get everybody from across this imaginary river. And you have to figure out how to cross this imaginary river and get everybody over to the other side. But you can't touch the ground with your feet, you can only do it with these magic slippers. I was the youngest one there, and I was the one that figured out that, yeah, I'll wear one shoe, you wear one shoe, we'll both hop across and I'll walk back. We'll do it again with the next person. Well, they had me on a lot of drugs at the time. They kept telling me my mom was going to come see me. They kept on putting drugs in me. And had a couple of roommates there that weren't so nice. They didn't touch me sexually or anything like that. They just weren't nice people. And the staff weren't listening. They didn't care. Except for a guy named Papa Larry. One of these kids was trying to choke me one night, and it really didn't matter to the staff. I told them that I was being choked, and they said I probably did it to myself. And I went, you know what? People are just going to be mean to me, and I can't ever see my family. So these people just keep on putting drugs in me and pretending I'm a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I just wanted them to leave me alone or to put me somewhere where that kid wasn't going to fucking jump me. He jumped me a couple times in group, too. By jumped, I mean he was talking to other kids into, one kid goes and distracts the staff while the other kids jump on you and try to beat you up. And I actually tried to eat all of my roommate's pills. He was on as many as I was. My head was really fucked up from the meds, and it had been fucked up since about my second or third day there from these medications. And they just kept on changing them. And my body was hurting all the time from the medications, and I was trying to explain it to him. My body hurts. And that was the first time I ever tried to kill myself. I was about 6. First time I made a serious attempt, because I was pretty sure with all the drugs that I was on at Centennial Peaks that they weren't going to be able to kill me with drugs. And I wasn't going to be able to kill myself with drugs. My next suicide attempt was at Mount St. Vincent's. And that was after a kid named Dominic. The staff didn't care. And there was a priest there, and he let some of the older boys beat on me for saying something. So I tried to hang myself in my closet. But also, you gotta understand, during that time, again, with the medications, they had given me a medication that was making me hallucinate. I threw some garbage in the garbage can, and it came back out and rolled across the floor at me. And that's actually one of only 2 times I've ever had a hallucination. The second time was at a foster home where I was being abused pretty serious later on in life. But after that priest watched them older boys beat on me for a bit, one of the staff members wasn't able to keep his hands to himself. There's two of them in my life, both named Steve, that were sex ed counselors in different institutions. One of them at Fairfax and one of them at Fairfax is the one that's in Patch Adams at the very beginning with the squirrels. And Mount St. Vincent's is a Catholic group home that's attached to a church in Denver. So I was 6, almost 7, when I was at Mount St. Vincent's when all of this happened. I did try to hang myself in my closet. They wouldn't stop feeding me drugs. They wouldn't listen to me. And I'm just supposed to shut up and take it. That's pretty much every time that I tried to kill myself, it's because I needed help, and people told me I just need to take it. Meanwhile, they're not having to take it. It's always people who don't have to go through it saying that I need to just take it. So, we'll fast forward to Fairfax up in Washington State. My dad was treating me like shit pretty much nonstop. He wanted to have a normal son. Well, maybe if he'd treated me like a human being instead of treating me like I'm a retard. See, him and my mom, by the time I was 9, both of them had told me, you know, Sean, it's tough to raise a kid that's smarter than you are. Well, if you know the kid's smarter than you are, maybe you should listen to the fucking kid, stupid. At Fairfax, I tried to overdose on pills again. Um, they were antidepressants, and I was telling them that the antidepressants were making me sick, and I didn't feel very good, and they made my head not work. So I saved up my antidepressants for a week, and they were telling me how good I was doing on my new meds. You're doing so good on your new meds. We're proud of you. And I was saving them up to kill myself. Well, I decided not to kill myself. Usually they check your mouth when you take your pills, and they do this with everybody, but I always took my pills, so they didn't have any reason to doubt me. And I cheeked my pills, and I spit them up, and I saved them underneath my bed. Eventually, I had about, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them all at once, and I was happy. I decided I wasn't going to take the pills. Well, then there was a situation where I was attacked by another kid, and he was slamming me against the ground pretty hard, and I couldn't handle it. I was like, you know what, this is fucking bullshit, you know? And after he was done beating me up, you know, he was telling the staff that it was because I called him the N-word, and I didn't. He just wanted to beat on the white kid. In a lot of places, I had to deal with that. I'm gonna beat on somebody, I'm gonna go beat on the white kid. So, I took all those pills at once, and I woke up. So let's fast forward. I was living in Chapel, Nebraska, and Lana and Amanda wanted to move to Montana, and Sammy and Shelly wanted to move too. They all wanted to move together, but none of them had the money to do it, and they needed to sell Sammy and Shelly's house just to get the money to leave town. So I told them I couldn't buy their house. I wanted a house, but their house is complete shit, and I didn't have the money. I didn't have an income. And I was trying to earn a truck from Big J. That's Jason Jepson in Chapel, Nebraska. And it was the first vehicle I was ever allowed to buy on payments. And I was, I don't know, I suppose, I want to say 24, 25 at the time. I don't know. No, I would have been older than that because it's after I moved back to Chapel. So I was 26 or 27. And matter of fact, that house, when I first started hanging out over at Jamie's, it was over a suicide attempt. Um, so Lana and Amanda told me that they would help to pay for the animal rescue. I volunteered there for 2 years, and I'd been helping, administer the shots and everything. I mean, Lana and Amanda are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to animals, and I did learn a lot from them. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. So, Sammy and Shelly wanted $200 a month, and I figured I could swing about 100, maybe 150 if I really hustled it. But I mean, I had a lot on my plate at the time, and I had that vehicle that I was having to pay $200 a month on, and with all of the travel and having to feed myself, I mean, it was tough to come up with that 200. And then I was doing artwork at the time, and people just weren't paying, except for Brandy Erb. She is a girl I went to high school with, and it was just depressing. All of my time was spent alone in my house. And, there was a flood that had flooded out my basement and ruined a lot of Amanda's stuff and a lot of Lana's stuff because basically they just left everything there. It was a storage facility for their shit. So basically all of my stuff is confined to 2 rooms. And I went up to Byron, Wyoming to do some work, and when I got back from Byron, tweakers had gone through my house, and I knew who it was. It was Brock Byington and my friend Kelsey and her boyfriend Damien Applegate. And Kelsey later on quit that shit, thank goodness. Damien didn't. And there's a situation where they just demolished my house. And I had given Kelsey and Damien the impression that there was some cocaine underneath my computer screen and that I had to leave town for a couple of days. I did this to try to catch the bastards for breaking into my house on multiple occasions. And basically, I had let Kelsey know that I needed somebody to watch my house. And I took some wax and basically sealed my computer monitor to the table so I could see if anything happened to it. Well, I'm standing by my window in my bedroom because that's where they were coming in at. And I had something in my hands. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember I was going to whack them in the head with it when they came in. Well, I heard Drake Chambers and Damien talking outside, and I realized I couldn't fucking smack them. And I moved and made a sound, and they up and left. Well, I left my house to go walk it off. I mean, I was trembling and terrified. I was about to whack these fuckers over the head over something that didn't even exist. There was no cocaine underneath my computer. I've never touched the shit. So I decided to kill myself. I couldn't handle not having friends. All of my friends over at Matt Worley's had stolen all of their mother's stuff and a bunch of stuff like that. And I'd gone to Boulder, and a bunch of my friends had died, and I'd come back. And I didn't want to hang out with anybody that was there because they were all on fucking drugs. It was basically Little J or Jason Vogt who couldn't stay off the meth. And I took a rope, and it was a plastic rope. It was pretty old. I tied it to the tree, and I fucking jumped out of the tree, and the rope broke. Left a bunch of little pieces of broken strands of yellow rope because it was frayed, all up in my throat, all the way around. And for about a year after that, I was pulling that out of my neck, gave me pimples and infections, and it was pretty gross. But within about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes of realizing that it didn't kill me and I was fucking still pissed off, my neck hurt, I decided I was going to go jump off the viaduct in front of the first train. And on my way there, that's when I found out that Jamie's mother had died drinking and driving. And I couldn't bring myself to kill myself after that. Not that day anyway, because Jamie was my friend and I couldn't do that to her. So then I don't know, but I guess about a year and a half later, Jamie had been pretending like she was interested in me, and then she'd get drunk and have sex with somebody else. And she'd tell me, I can't tell you that I want to have sex because that would make me a whore. And then she's telling dudes straight out that she wants them to have sex with her, and I'm like, yeah, great rules. She had these rules that she wanted me to follow. She thought that if you don't follow those rules, you're a bad person. Well, turns out I was the only person in her life, the only man in her life who was following those rules. By this time, I'd become pretty attached to her and her son, and Jamie was my best friend, and I was losing her because I wasn't fucking her. And I knew that she was gonna pull some fucked up shit. I'd seen her do it before. I got in my van. At the time, it was a van that I got from Rick Martindale. I went to school with all of his kids, actually. And I still owed money on this van, and I really didn't have the money to pay for it. And I needed the van to make money. And Jamie, she was going to take her son to go see his dad. And she'd been telling me that she was going to talk with me for about a month, I guess. But she just never had time. She was busy drinking or busy going over to Alan Bain's house to get meth or hanging out with Drake because he had meth. And basically, every girl in town in Chapel, Nebraska at the time was into meth. And they all talked about Drake Chambers' tiny penis. They called him this. When they put their pinky up like this, it means they were over at Drake Chambers' house. And, I really needed her to listen. I needed to know, what the hell was going on. What had I done to deserve this? But she said that she would talk to me when she got back. So I got into my van and I pushed the gas pedal down to try to go around the corner, and I got my foot slipped off the side and got stuck between the gas pedal and the doghouse. So my rear tires are on the pavement, my front tires are on dirt road, and lo and behold, I tried to kick my foot to get it loose, but I'm going forward already. And the van just kind of did this maneuver into the side of a harvester's trailer. I was not happy. I woke up in the back seat. I had a cigarette in my mouth when I got into the vehicle, and it was burning me. Not me in specific. It was burning my clothes. But I woke up in the back seat. My head hurt pretty bad. I walked over to the railroad tracks, took my ID out and everything like that. Set it next to the railroad tracks and stood on the tracks hoping a train would hit me. Well, it didn't. It stopped. So I was wandering around Chapel, Nebraska, dazed as fuck. Obviously had a fucking concussion. Didn't know what the hell was going on. And I go over to Martindale's, and they called the cops, and the cops came and got me and took me to Scotts Bluff. And yeah, it was suicidal. I mean, I was fucking out of it. I just wrecked my vehicle. I didn't have any way to pay my bills. I didn't have any way to pay Rick back, and I really was behind on my payments on the house. And that was when I got out of the hospital there in Scottsbluff, is when I called Sammy and Shelly up there in Montana to let them know, yeah, Amanda and Lana haven't sent me a single dollar. I don't have a vehicle. I can't get to work. I can't make money. Um, Gary Jefferson at the time was putting me to work as much as he could, but I mean, he's taking care of his boys, and all of his family works for him, and they're on salary. So basically, it's just the sewer calls. These are anywhere from, well, these happen any time of day. I mean, he could get a hold of me at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, Sean, let's go take care of the sewer. I need your help. And I'd show up and I'd get paid for helping with the sewer, and it was enough to keep me fed. That was it. It wasn't enough to pay for anything else. And he was busy trying to keep up with the salary thing. So when I let Sammy and Shelly know that, they asked me to continue staying in the house. They're like, if you can try to pay the rent, you know, that's fine. If you can't pay the rent, at least stay in it and pay the utilities. That way it's lived in and it doesn't fall apart as quick. We'll try to sell it. We'll try to put it back on the market. Well, nobody's going to fucking buy the place. There were 80 houses in Chapel, Nebraska for sale at the time. I didn't even know there were 80 houses in Chapel. So, I mean, yeah, there are. You know, I just didn't bother to think of how many houses would have been there. And it just sucked. So, Jamie moved, and I helped her move into her mom's old house. And basically, she's got money coming in from 3 different properties. And she got like $25,000 when her mom died. A lot of people get inheritances. I never got one. I didn't get any help, actually, from my family. I just had to work for it. When people say do it yourself, I did it myself. Um, and I needed to go over to Jamie's, right, and mow her lawn. She'd been asking me for a whole week to come over and mow her lawn. And I didn't have the money to even get gas, and I had promised her that I would, and I meant to keep my promise. So I went over there, and she'd spent the night screwing around doing some pretty messed up stuff that I'm not going to mention in this video. But I got over there, and I had to borrow a gas can from Rick Martindale. And it'd been in the hot sun, and it was this new-fangled Chinese. It was complicated. And I couldn't figure out how to get it open. And I had my trench coats on, and she's got her, Jamie's got her uncle staying there, a guy that I used to know from Boulder. He was a meth head in Boulder and an alcoholic in Boulder, and he wasn't any different at Jamie's. Matter of fact, he even peed on her son's head once. This guy was a fucking prick. And I went to open up the gas can, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was trying to read the instructions, and I tipped it up, and it fucking popped off at me. I'm drenched in gas. And it, like, sprayed right in my face. So, I mean, I got gas all over me, and I take off my first trench jacket, but it covered them both, and I'm wearing 2 of them at the time. And middle of summer, the reason for that is because it gets hot as fuck. I get a little bit of sweat going, and it cools me down, and because I'm wearing multiple layers, it stays cool. Well, I go to knock on Jamie's door with my foot, and this door has been kicked in probably a dozen times. I mean, you can tell. And I went to knock on the door with my foot. It pops right open. And I'm like, fuck, you know. But I got my hands on my face. My eyeballs are burning. I'm breathing in these gas fumes. And I go back to the bedroom and I'm like, Jamie, call 911. I'm covered in gas. She's like, if you want to kill yourself, you call him yourself. I'm like, that is not what's going on here. She's like, all right, Sean, just give me a minute. Let me have a cigarette. I'm like, no, I'm covered in gas. And so she does get a hold of the cops for me, and Officer I want to say it's Matt Bartles that shows up, but I don't think it was. I remember the officer who showed up. By the time he showed up, I'd been breathing in these gas fumes for about 20 minutes. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he stood way back because, I really smelled like gas. My eyeballs were still burning. I was tearing up enough that I was finally able to see a little bit, but I don't know what the fuck I said to him. I was fucking huffing gas. So, he took me to the jail. I had to take off my trench jackets, which Jamie sold to her uncle, the prick. Um, and they took me to Scotts Bluff on suicide watch and some other shit. I'm like, you know what? I take my report when I'm fucking sober, not when I've been huffing gas fumes. Well, you shouldn't have been huffing gas fumes. I didn't choose to. But I actually got kicked out of Chapel, Nebraska for 3 years because of that. 3 years of not seeing Jamie or the boy, except that one time up in the mountains. Now, I wasn't suicidal for a few years because I was in Boulder, Colorado saving lives, and although I was really depressed about what had happened with Jamie, I wasn't trying to kill myself. And all the times previously before that I'd tried to kill myself, it was because I was on medications. Prescribed medications, by the way. And that, except for that time with the Jeep, or with the van, which was a fucking concussion. I mean, it was a seriously fucked up situation, and I didn't know what was going on. The thing with the gas, seriously fucked up situation, and I didn't know what was going on. So then, well, for a period of time there, I had been taking some antidepressants that I was asked to take. I figured if I was taking these, then I wouldn't be as depressed, and Jamie would like me. I was depressed because Jamie was playing some severely fucked up head games with me. And that actually led to me attempting to kill myself. But that was during the period of time that I had the van. Matter of fact, I took him right up to the point that I wrecked the van. But the medications really gave me anxiety, not the opposite. I always felt like I was sick and I couldn't think straight. So I guess we should fast forward to when I hurt my back. The cops wouldn't leave me alone in Boulder. I couldn't work. I couldn't go anywhere. People kept on treating me like shit because I didn't have a job. I had lost my job because I had hurt my back, and I had hurt my back trying to move the shit out of my shop to put into storage. The guy who was supposed to be helping me wasn't. He wasn't helping to pay the bills. He paid a little bit a couple of months, and I was so happy about that. I mean, he paid a little bit, but not enough to cover the bills, and I wasn't making any money. I got kind of lucky because a guy named Russell Huggins came by and it helped me eventually. But that wasn't until Natalie came back into my life, and I was overwhelmed. I had just lost everything. My vehicle had broken down. It wasn't drivable, and I was in hell. The cops just wouldn't let me sleep. I couldn't help anyone, let alone myself. And I was asking for help, and people who said, "Hey, man, if you need help, just ask." I did. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I got too many problems of my own." And then I'm listening to them tell me about their problems for 30 to 45 minutes. Trivial shit. But it's stuff that they're stressed out about. So, I was losing the Starbucks. I was having a severe panic attack, and I bought some Vicodin to try to kill myself. And that didn't happen because Natalie came to my rescue. She rescued me from myself, just like Jamie's mother had. Jamie's mother did so by dying. So I went to Virginia, and I was still having a lot of issues. I mean, people were being really mean to me, and I knew that I couldn't kill myself if I wasn't on drugs, and I didn't want to do drugs. And helping people out was really who I was. That's the one thing that, as long as I was helping people out, they were good to me. They didn't treat me like I had ulterior motives. They just let me be me. And I went to Virginia, and I was still suicidal, and I still wanted my life to end. I just wanted to see my friends, but I didn't have any because I couldn't go see them myself because I didn't have any money and I couldn't hardly walk and I had that fucking backpack and it just was hell. So I was in Virginia and all of that shit happened with Miss Jerry and all of them and I hated it. The only positive thing in my life at that point in time was Natalie and Alicia. That was it. And when I got stuck in the road out there and I'm honking my damn horn, I'm fucking freaking out. And so I went to the hospital there, and the hospital, they asked me a bunch of questions, told me I got diabetes mellitus, and some other fucked up whatever bullshit, and then they dropped me off. I no longer have a car, and I don't have a charge on my phone. I can't call anyone. I'm fucking screwed, and I know it. And my best friend is fucking probably getting ripped out by her parents or by her mother and her boyfriend about having an old man all the way over there who drove all the way there from fucking wherever. Well, I drove there for a reason. When I was suicidal, Natalie showed up and she helped me. When she was suicidal, I did the same. But she wanted her family to be happy. She wanted her family to love her the way that I loved her. You can't make people love someone like that. But just because I love you doesn't mean that I'm going to take a whole shit ton of fucking abuse. I'm not. That's fucking stupid. So, from the time I left Virginia until I got to Boulder, I mean, I was fucking sad and depressed, but I was looking forward to getting back to Boulder. I mean, I had a vehicle now. I could drive there. I could put my backpack in the vehicle so I could walk around and go see my friends, and I got there and fucking people were being assholes, so I left. And after that, I just have wanted to die ever since. I wasn't a bad person. I didn't do things mean to people to try to fucking destroy and manipulate their lives. I was just good to people. That's all I did. Most of my life, most of my adult life, I protected children. I protected children from their stupid mothers most of the time. Their stupid mom who wants to jump from one abusive asshole to another, to another, to another, contributing her money to keeping his roof over his head, and then she goes back to him because she wants a roof over her head and doesn't want her kids getting taken because she's homeless. Meanwhile, if they'd worked together with me like we had originally been doing, like with Miss Jerry, for example, yeah, we had enough to cover the bills. I was working enough that I could make sure that we were at least fed and was able to pay $50 to $100 at most towards the bills. But it was something, you know? And so I finally got disability when I was in Nebraska year before last. And finally, for the first time in my life, I kind of sort of had my own place. I couldn't make my own rules because it's low income, and I couldn't have friends come to see me because they had to fill out paperwork to stay there because Cindy, the lady who runs the place, has special rules that are different from the actual rules. It was fucking pathetic and humiliating. I had people threatening me and harassing me and calling me a fucking child molester. Jesus goddamn Christ. people attacking me and assaulting me. I mean, who the fuck does that? Find out what's going on. So I fought hard to try to get the cops to document it in Chapel, Nebraska, and they wouldn't. And the cops in Boulder didn't give a fuck. It's, you gotta man up, or I have real police work to do, or you are such a pussy. Like, really? I'm trying not to be violent. I'm trying to do it the way that you're supposed to do it. And the people who are supposed to do their jobs aren't even doing their fucking jobs. So I begged people for an entire year to either shoot me in the fucking head and I would give them my vehicle. I'd even dig my own fucking hole. Or trade my vehicle for enough pills to kill myself, and nobody would do it. After Natalie died, I just wanted to die. And with the people that were trying to help me having their lives threatened, and there's documentation of this. I got screenshots of it. People like Aaron Cockerham and Karamia and Layla Johnson, and even people I know getting scared shitless, like Candace Dale, the first day that I was there, having screenshots of her old living room sent to her because of the pictures that are in the background in one of my videos. And I told her I wanted to take them off the wall. She's like, no, it'll be fine. Leave them there. You were wrong, Candace. You were fucking stupid for not listening to me. You are fucking stupid, Candace. And then that pocket dial from Miss Shelley, and the way that that officer treated me, and the way that Rayanne Ingersoll in Wyoming treated me, and the way that her husband treated her, and the fact that all of these people are allowed to cry, and I'm not. You made her cry. I didn't make anyone cry. And what about me crying? Because I have a penis, I'm not allowed. A man is supposed to man up. So, after being assaulted by the Boulder police and everything that had gone on, and them fucking lying out their asses in fucking court, and people not listening, just 300 different fucking people all got different ideas of what I should be doing, and all of them are treating me like shit. Instead of listening to what's going on, they're all making the same fucking suggestions over and over and over again. They're not calling to listen. They're texting me, and every one of their texts shows me their bad fucking assumptions. The assumption that, yes, I can go to the library. No, I fucking can't. People are assaulting each other over whether or not I killed Natalie. So, some people at the Starbucks, a woman named Haley, she got me a room, and there was a lady named Mackenzie who was going to help me out. She used to work at Starbucks too, and a woman named Courtney, and a woman who worked there named Soraya, and a few people at Starbucks, you know? But then when it all came to it, I was stuck in that room by myself, people threatening me. I need help, actual help, and I'm just getting pretty words, and my resources are getting spent faster than I can earn them. And so I took 2 bottles of sleeping pills and a whole package of, or 2 bottles of caffeine pills and a whole package of sleeping pills. And it should have killed me. Matter of fact, I think it did, but I don't know for sure because there's a period of time there I don't actually remember. And I've been suicidal and wanted to die ever since. I love myself as a human being. I know what kind of a person I choose to be. It's other people's shitty assumptions and opinions that they punish me for. And it's that punishment that makes my life the hell that it is. It makes me want to die. I mean, Boulder, Colorado is the most positive place I've ever lived. People are going through hell. The hell of being homeless. And they're still good to me. And I'm good to them. And that's the way that it was. And then going back to Chapel, Nebraska with those fucking racist redneck fucking pricks. Every decent person moved out of town, and the decent people that are in town are married to people who are not decent or people who just don't give a fuck and want to judge others for shit that they've never had to go through. So I've been thinking about killing myself a lot. And people say, don't do that, I'll help you. No, the fuck you won't. You'll give me pretty fucking words and excuses. And then, when it comes to keeping your word, instead of keeping your word, you're going to try to paint me as the bad guy. Well, fuck you, Candace. Fuck you, Brooke. Fuck you, Jamie. Fuck you, Todd. Fuck all of you. When I was in the jails, people had given me promises they didn't keep, but they gave me those promises. Those promises that I've been listening to for 2 years out of people like Joanna Taylor, Derek Parrish, Janine Barrett, or Janine Barrett, depending on how she pronounces it. I don't know. I've always only read it. People like James Golden. All these people giving me their word and not keeping it. It's those empty promises that kept me from killing myself. And it's the fact that these people didn't keep their word that makes me want to die. The fact that when I needed help, they were just empty fucking words. Sean, if you need help, call me. I did. Sean, if you need somebody to talk to, call me. I did. Sean, I'm at work. You need to text me before you call. Okay, I will. Sean, you need to message me before you come over. All right, I will. And I do. And they don't keep their word. They ignore me. The worse off that I am, the more they throw me away, the more they treat me like shit, and the more I want to fucking die. Sean, I'll show up at your court date. Sean, I'll help you go through this evidence. Sean, I'll teach you how to do this electronic stuff. And then they don't. When it all comes down to it, they want to... Are you eating? Are you eating? Does it fucking matter? So I haven't attempted to kill myself a shit ton of times. But my life never improved because nobody worked with me. And I get to hear all these people saying how they did it all themselves. Many of these people I helped out of homelessness. Many of these people are not homeless because I helped them. And they want to tell me to do it all myself because they had to do it all themselves. No. We made deals. I keep my end of the bargain, you keep your end of the bargain. But that's not the way it worked out. And I got folks who tell me, you know, Sean, if you weren't so busy giving everything away, I wasn't giving it away. We made deals. I kept my end of the bargain. They didn't. That's not the same as giving it away. But, that's how people see it. And they didn't bother to find out from me how it actually is. They just made their assumptions. And it's those assumptions that make me suicidal because I need actual help, not pretty fucking goddamn words. It's their empty fucking promises. They're pretty goddamn words that I had to believe. I want to believe that somebody's gonna keep their word. And that kept me going, and kept me going, and kept me going. And each one of those people, every one of them, when it came time to actually keep their word and prove that they're not just empty fucking words, they all showed me they're just empty fucking words. And they all have reasons. They have families. They need help because they have families. So I show up and I help out their family. They can't help because they have families. So I have to accept this. And then they treat me like shit when I ask them to do something that doesn't cost a fucking dime. It doesn't cost you a dime to walk with me to the cop shop to make a report. It doesn't. It doesn't cost you a dime to walk in there with me to help keep me safe so that they can't do the things that they did. And most of these people already knew what the cops do. They already knew that I needed somebody to go in with me, and I just got empty promises. Oh, well, if I was there. Help me get someone there, Dan Faber, you fucking prick. Don't throw money at me and then expect me to jump through a bunch of goddamn hoops to get that money, to prove to you that I'm fucking trying. Why don't you fucking try how I need? I'm trying how you want me to because I need your help. I need your help in the way that I told you I need. But all of these people were empty fucking words. I was entertainment to them. I was a game for them to play. It was an interactive murder case. Fuck you, you goddamn pieces of shit. Roast in fucking hell, you fucking selfish bastards. You know, when that shit was happening to me when I was a kid, if somebody would have ripped somebody's ass for doing the shit that I rip your asses for, I'd have gone right on. You are a badass. Do you know why? Because at least it's something. You guys want to shame me over lies that were told about me and shitty fucking opinions. I'm going to shame you for what you actually did, you fucking liar. Yes, I'm still suicidal as fuck. But I got a few empty fucking promises still on my plate. Gonna call those fucking people and see if they're actually gonna keep their word. Are they? Probably fucking not. Hear me or fucking kill me. That's not complicated. I needed people to stop punishing me for being punished. And that is all that my life has been. This crackhead is worth a chance. You'll fucking marry that dude who beat the fuck out of you, but you won't be my friend for rescuing you from that son of a bitch 3 different times, will you? Of fucking course you won't.